And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at the first expansion for Descent 2.0, and that's the Trollfens. This was a small expansion, a small box, but there's actually quite a bit packed in here. There's rumors and secret rooms and monsters. Oh my! Let's take a look. The expansion comes with 2 new heroes. Here's one of them, where when you target someone who's not next to another hero, you get +1. So it kind of gives you benefits of hitting someone else on your own. Besides the 2 heroes, there's also 2 new monsters. We have harpies and we have worms. Now harpies have your typical swarm where they'll do more damage against someone that there's more of. They can fly. But the worms, now the worms are really cool. First of all, they look cool. And I really hope someday they add a larger version of these, because these are scary, of course. If I saw one of these, I'd be running the other way. Of course, I would do that for a goblin too, probably. But anyway, these guys can burrow, come up from underneath you, displacing you, and then weakening somebody. That's the new condition that's included in this one. Weaken. When you've weakened someone, they lose 1 shield from their defense and 1 heart from their attacks. So when they do a rest, they'll get rid of this. So it's not hard to get rid of them, but at the same time, these can be a real pain in the neck. There's some weapons and things that are included in this game. Some of them have to do with the weakened skill. Here we see a boomerang, a stone armor, a glaive. I really do like the belt of strength that's included with this game. The map stone that lets you skip something. And you even have some like here, the scepter, the life drain scepter, which weakens somebody. Then there is this small room included in the game. This is 2 different sides of a treasure tile. Now what you do in this game is you replace the no action thing from a search, where the search card says you find nothing. You replace it with the card here that says you found a secret passage. When that happens, you place a secret passage there, and you will draw a secret passage room card included in this set. This will tell you which side of the tile here to use, and you're going to put a number of special search tokens in this area depending on the number of players. When a player moves around in this area and steps on these tokens, you'll reveal them, and they might be monsters or they might be skill tests that they have to make, that if they pass these tokens, they will then get to find things from the search deck. So you can find a lot of things down in this room. Now the Overlord can take some of these off to stop you. He can take 1 off each turn to stop you from finding them. But when they're all gone, well, then you get the benefit of the card. For example here, this card, when this is done, you immediately draw a number of cards from the current Axe Shop item deck equal to the number of heroes, and everyone chooses 1 to keep. So that's why you basically let them draw. Let's say you're playing against 4 heroes, they can draw 4 cards and pick one of those. That's a great addition. The problem is, while this dude is running around in the secret room, the people here in the main quest have to deal with all the monsters without him. The expansion also comes with these rumor cards. At the beginning of the game, the Overlord will draw 3 of these rumor cards, and he can play them when it says that he can play them. For example, he can play this card at the start of a campaign phase during Act 1, and this says, Food for Worms. The heroes can choose this. They can go to it. It has travel icons on it. And then they will go and they'll play the campaign, which is mentioned here. These are not a campaign, but basically just 1 encounter. So there's 1 encounter. These are like single encounters. They don't have much to do with the other campaign, but they can have great rewards both for the heroes and for the Overlord. Speaking of the Overlord, he is a big new bad boss in this one, Bolgorath, who's one of my favorite in the game. But they also have a new class. This is the Infector class. The Infector tokens, this is some more Overlord cards. These come with tokens that you can put on heroes, and you can discard those Infector tokens off of heroes to cause them to have to fail skill tests or take extra damage or things like that. So it's a cool idea if you want to play the Infector. Finally, we have 2 new classes in this deck. We have the Stalker, who has a hunting knife and a Black Widow's web, and has the ability to lay trap tokens down. which are exactly what you might think they are. They're kind of like a familiar where you can take extra damage, but you can use different cards that you have to trigger traps, to make them attack people in different directions. Sometimes they'll help you. There's like the beginning one, if you're next to a trap token at the when this card's exhausted, you can take 1 health back. So I guess you're eating a rabbit that you caught in the trap. So he's a useful thing, especially if you can get a lot of these traps all over the board that really is a pain in the neck to the Overlord because his monsters are going to be constantly triggering them and having them attack them. The other guy that's in this one is the Prophet. Now the Prophet has a cool iron flail and a Sage's Tome, but he has this insight token that he can give to himself or to another person who's near him. And so throughout the scenarios, you'll be looking at these different things. Like for example here, when you get this token, you get 1 health and 1 fatigue back. When you have it, you can discard it to get a health. So you can pass it around to get health. But as the time goes by, you can do all sorts of things with these. The person who within 2 spaces, whoever has the insight, can suffer 2 fatigue to reroll an attack die. If you can discard the insight token, add 2 shields to your results. And so basically the Prophet is a strong support character. He has to move around and pass this insight token to other characters to help them do better against the Overlord. You know, for a small expansion, this really does add a lot. Now, this small expansion has the secret rooms and the rumors, and so does the second small expansion that Fantasy Flight did for this, the Lair of the Worm. And really, I think you should get both of them because it makes your pile of rumor cards and your pile of secret room cards bigger, and it just adds some more variety to the game. Now, the heroes in this one are probably my least favorite heroes. I don't dislike them. I like every hero class that Fantasy Flight comes up with. The Prophet and the Trap Layer, they're cool and neat. I like the ones in the other small expansion better, but the monsters, the Worm is one that I will constantly bring out, if nothing else, just psychological. To have a worm just come up and you know that if there's a wall between you and it, or a door even, that the worm can get through that. I like that. I like the Infector class a lot. It's often one that I will choose because I like to give out the Infector tokens to others. And I like all the different things. I mean, it's good to have more weapons and more travel cards, etc. So this is a very solid expansion. Like I said, a lot more in here than you might think. And that's the Trollfens.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Do, do.